Shit. She's had all week. Hello.
What? All week?
Yeah.
I've had them all week. What are you talking about?
Last week you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Well, hi, Facebook Live.
Hello, hello.
Hopefully you can see us. We've had internet. Our internet was down until about 15 minutes ago. So
we were doing a little scramble.
Yeah, we were like, ah! Wireless still doesn't work very well. But
it's a bit slow, so we're hoping it'll
work. We got you hardwired in, so I think it'll be working fine off the computer, but
at least on your computer.
Yeah, on the video.
So hopefully on my side I can keep up with the questions. If not, It might turn into more of a...
Hello, June. Can you hear us okay, everybody? I just want to check, make sure you can see and hear us.
True.
You can close your eyes or, hide the video if you don't want to see us. Just want the noise.
Hi from Alabama. Hi, Jesse. Hello from Wyoming. Hello, Eileen.
Apparently the internet works in Wyoming, I guess.
Maybe they don't have Google
That's
Fiber.
That's a problem over here.
So I guess we should, let's see. Yesterday was Halloween.
Yep. Hope everybody had a good time. We didn't have that. We had a...
How was your trick-or-treaters last night?
Yeah. I think we probably had about maybe 100, less than 100, I think.
That's kind of like a little low for
75 or something. We usually get 300-400, but and it wasn't all the time. It was just we get like 2 or 3 or 4 in a 30-minute window, and then nothing for a while, and then a handful. Anyway, it was fun to see all the youngins out there. It was a school night, so that probably
hindered it a little bit.
Yeah, they weren't running around after 10 o'clock doing stuff, but. I noticed that they were a little more grabby this time around. So I'd hand on the bowl, and I said, take one. They go, and they take one handful, one claw instead of one piece of candy. One actual candy. So
we also got to go trick-or-treating at your office yesterday, which the grandkids loved.
That's right. 4 floors of candy bliss.
Yeah.
They come out of there. One of the grandkids, I guess he's the oldest of the set that went.
Nixon?
Yeah.
Nixon. So 2 of them went. Nixon and Beckett went trick-or-treating yesterday.
Yeah, Nixon, by the time we got 3 floors down, he was like, I can't hold my candy.
I can't hold my bucket. It's too heavy.
It's too heavy. So his mom had to dump it out into another bag and give him back his bucket.
Swap in buckets. Yeah,
it was clear full. It was all the way to the top.
Oh, my goodness. They had probably, I want to say, Beckett, by the time we got home, it was probably like a good 2.5 pounds of candy. Like he filled 2 gallon-sized Ziploc bags of candy. I was like, okay, so we don't need to go trick-or-treating for like the next 3 years.
Yeah,
we have enough
got
candy.
Plenty.
But he loved it, which is all that matters, right?
Yeah, that's what's fun.
So we had a Mario, and then little Nixon was Jafar.
Jafar with a bird on, and he had the hat, and his face was all made up.
Yeah. He has this obsession with villains, which I think is so funny. So their whole family did a family costumes. Like Matson was dressed as a genie, and they had their little boy Ford dressed as Abu, and then Erica, your daughter-in-law, was dressed as Princess Jasmine. So they were like a whole complete costume. I did not dress up because I've been sick for the last week. So.
Me neither.
You were dressed up as a grandpa.
Yeah, I was grandpa. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started.
Oh,
Rob Lewis knows me.
All right. So first things first, I sent you a ton of questions this week.
Yes.
Let's review some of those questions and see if you can answer some of those questions for us.
So someone asked, why are there no icons on the Ravalli County, Montana land records in the catalog? They appear to be digital, but there's no icon telling me that I can go to Family History Center to see them. It gives me a link, and we don't necessarily put an icon on to tell you whether it's at a Family History Center or not. We just don't put the icon on unless you can see the icon, the pictures.
So the icon represents seeing the pictures online?
Yeah, you'll be able to see them online.
Okay.
The catalog will tell you that it's digital, but it just means it hasn't been indexed, it hasn't been prepped to be able to put out on the site. Now, things are going to change there. We're going to try much harder to get images out on the site even well before they're indexed, but this one still has some remaining processing to do.
Okay.
The other one, I'm not going to answer because it was like 4 paragraphs. I had too many questions.
I think it was a little personal too. They gave you like a PID, so I think you wanted to.
I didn't see a PID in this one. Oh, they did. So I'm going to have to go look around at that one. Places where you can't copy the PID. It doesn't work in the source linker on the summary card on the person page. Works fine on the person page. Yeah, actually, you're correct. Source linker was a team, was a different team. Now they're part of our group, and they're coming out with a new source linker. We're testing it right now. There's a small percentage of the people in the system that have seen it. And that's all fixed in there. You get the copy PID, you get the same pop-up card, you get all that. So when that gets out, because we're done testing and verifying it working, then you'll see that there. Consultant planner. Yeah, the consultant planner one, this is Janae. I need to know the PID of the one that's saying that there's possible duplicates. That's what I need to look at.
Okay.
We did have a problem where we were showing possible duplicates when they weren't possible duplicates. Okay. When you refresh Descendancy View with 4 generation, why does it default back to 1 generation? It's always done that, even in the prior version. We recognize that it needs to be better. This was part of the enhancements we can do because we're changing to the new V8 version. So now that we've switched to the new V8 version, it's on the roadmap for that to be fixed. Okay. Just like your pedigree, you can have it all set the way you want and drag it around to where you want it and then leave and come back, and it goes right back to the same place. We're going to do that too with the Descendancy.
Cool.
But it may take a little while to get there.
Okay.
Like months, okay, months and months. Highlight ordinances ready in the new expanded fan chart. Well, ordinances, yeah, we're not going to put that in the fan chart because there's no room for it on that thing. The fan chart has turned into a great little tool to find stories and memories and sources and things like that. There's been some talk about having the selection. You go pick ordinances and then we show ordinances. It's just discussion at this point. So until then, until we get around to it or it gets high enough priority, it'll probably won't happen for a while. Mobile team hook into fingerprint stuff for the iPhone. There's really no need for the mobile Family Tree Mobile on iOS or Android to do the fingerprint thing. It's nice and it may be a little convenient, but we don't ask you to log in every time. You only log in once.
I think when we were referring to that, we were talking more about when they were using the ordinances ready, when
still the same thing.
They were going to search for names. Still
the same thing. You only log in once, and you don't have to log in again until you change your password, or I don't even think or you have to upgrade maybe. That's it. We don't upgrade that. We don't do updates that often. I mean, only every quarter or more. So there, we don't see really any need there for the fingerprint stuff for the iPhone. Can words at the top be blue to indicate a link?
Oh yeah. So you guys.
I'm not sure at the top.
Like at the previous version, they were highlighted. They were underlined, so they look like hyperlinks.
Yeah.
When you updated it, they're no longer.
That's right, because they're not hyperlinks anymore. They're not links anymore. They're just a marker. So they don't do blue. The blue is done by the browser.
Okay.
We just get to tell it what color we want. So that's not there. So we won't be able to do that.
Okay.
Because it's not a link. I really love the copy PID that you have now included in most of Family Search. However, the feature is not included when adding. That's the same issue. It's not adding through the source linker the attached historical records, and that will be coming when we get our new release out. Check on the light bulb on the detailed page. Yeah, it's not there when we did our cutover, so they're aware of it. They have it on the list, but it'll probably be a bit before we do that one too.
Okay.
When you pull up tasks on the app, is there a way to start at the most recent name or task rather than the oldest person on the list? And it actually does that. It actually gets you the closest person to you. Now, closest may mean an older one, because if you go up and you go way down, then the ones that are way down are technically further away from you as far as relationship count. So we count each time you go up and we count each time you go down as 1 point. And we're bringing you the ones that are closest to you, meaning they're the closest related. So that if you have to go up, if you're going up to, 1700s, and that's closer than some descendant, 4 or 5 generations later. So it brings you the one that's closest to you because we felt like the greater possibility of knowing that person.
Okay.
Because it could be a grandfather or a grandmother or whatever.
I think that was.
And that's it.
Our wrap-ups for questions that we sent you.
Yeah, I think I got pretty much all of them, except for that one big one, and I'll have to go.
Let's go
look at the PID and see if I can figure out who the person is that sent it.
My goodness, all your 5 billion emails.
It's not nearly as bad as it used to be.
Okay, let's see. Let's catch up on. Let's see if there's anything over here.
Oh yeah. Okay, I can do it right here.
Let's see.
So we send you recommendations on the new source linker. It is also missing the tags to tag the source to. Yeah. If you had opportunity to see the new source linker, there's actually a feedback button on the side when you run it. I believe you could just click that feedback button and tell them what's missing, and that goes straight to the team. So they review that, and that's part of their assignment when as they're adding more people to use it, and then they get that feedback, and they're supposed to go fix that.
Okay.
So if you want to send it to me too, that's fine. But if you click it, and it'll go straight to that team.
Okay. Rich says hi from Maryland. Coy says hi from Idaho.
Gooding, Idaho.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why that didn't pull up there. Rob says, greetings from Alaska. It's a balmy 29 degrees.
Oh, boy. Well, it's a little warmer here. I think we're in the 40s.
29 degrees.
That's pretty cool. Oh, you're in Alaska. What do you expect?
I know. He says no snow, and he had 800 to 900 visitors last night in costumes at his house.
800 to 900.
A lot of trick-or-treaters.
Is that because there's a lot of kids, or is that because there's only few houses?
I don't know.
I mean, if you got 800 kids, there's only 150 houses. I mean, every kid's going to hit every house.
That's right. They're on a mission to get candy.
That's right. The town's small enough that everybody can get to every house. Around here, it's too far. They have to drive. So a lot of them that came, they drove to the neighborhood, and then they the van doors open, and all 1,000 kids run out, and they run around the neighborhood as fast as they come.
Pick them up, and then they go.
Yeah, I had one. I opened the door, and he was one of the guys was standing there going, because they're just tired from running from one house to the next.
That's funny. What is the status of seeing our living? So I'm assuming living circles.
Well, it's not called circles.
Or what you were calling it them.
Shared family groups.
Shared family groups.
We're in a prototype phase. We built a little app. We built a little prototype on top of mobile, and we tried it out with. I think we have 25 families. We're only using employees right now to get the feedback, and we found some interesting things. We found that you need about 5 to 10 active people participating in this family group thing for it to really be beneficial. You really go, to really take off. And unfortunately, in our set of groups, we only have like 2 or 3 groups that have more than 5 active, and so those are all really having great experiences, and the others have 2 or 3 people that kind of log in occasionally, and so you can kind of see what they're doing. That's what we're trying to judge is how many do you need, and is it going to work, and people really going to use it or not?
Right.
They all volunteered, said they were anxious to use it, and so we're just going to keep. Testing it and see what happens.
Cool.
So we got to get
no ETA.
No, we got to get through this test. I mean, it's got to validate before we'll even spend the energy to build it, because the prototype was just a throw together hack that simulates but isn't the real thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Rob Lewis says, "Am I no longer able to adjust the layout of a person page?" That's correct. You're not. At the moment, that was one of the things we didn't get done, but we needed to ship the product because of other issues, networking kind of things we needed to do. But we're looking at a replacement. I think we might have talked about it here before, but I'll talk about it again. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Always answer the question.
Always do it.
Yep. So what we're thinking of doing is giving you your own personal tab. So it'll be like, my tab, something like that.
Yep.
And then you'll be able to pick the stuff you want on the tab. So you can put on, I like family member gadgets, and I like vitals, and I like sources, and I like whatever. And you can put them on the page and arrange them on the page however you want. You do that tab however you want that tab to be. And then the idea being that whenever you go to any person in the tree, that tab will be on that person. And it's custom. It's your tab, right? So somebody else could have a tab that has different things on it.
Sure.
If you put a ton of things on it, then you pay the penalty in performance if there's a ton of stuff on that tab.
Oh, seeing living records that we've created in the past.
You will. When we do shared family groups, you'll be able to share living persons. That's part of the plan for that particular feature. We just haven't gotten to the living part to share that. We decided to see if people will share ordinances, and will they communicate using a message board, and will they do to-do lists, and how often will they log in and come to the group. That's what we're testing right now. So oh, okay, she's talking about the living records that you created but forgotten about. Yeah, the team, one of the teams has it on their list. I can't remember right now exactly when they're scheduled to do that. But the intent is on the lists section, where you can do lists and you see the watch list and stuff like that. The idea was to add a section that says My Living or something. You click that and it'll just show all the living that are in your private area. And then you could just scroll down alphabetically or whatever to get to the person and click it and go to that person. So that's the intent. Yeah, so I need to remember to check up on that one.
Which one? What do you want to send me?
Check on the living records I created, but I've forgotten about.
Okay.
Have we got any questions, by the way? I'm just worried. You know, I start talking and there's no questions, and I just stare.
You just stare. Sorry. I was responding. So I put a post out today letting everybody know that November is officially your birthday month.
Yes, it is.
We're officially into your birthday month. So I was asking people how do they celebrate birthdays in their family? And some of these answers were kind of interesting. I just thought it was kind of fun. I was reading some of them.
Okay, let's get us a question.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, the first question tonight comes from Leslie.
Oh, great.
Just tell David not to refresh.
Don't refresh.
Don't refresh.
Wi-Fi's down again.
Oh, okay. Leslie says, when you're on the person's detailed page and it says you have a hint, when you go to that hint, it shows that the names have already been attached. Why does that hint not go away? Yeah,
that's the problem we're talking about. Well, we have two problems. And this is happening more. And I went and talked to the team about it. I said, it's happening too much. The problem is that, and this was, we could have done a better job in the past when we built the system in this particular area. And it's a technical, it's not a bug, it's more of a technical issue that just happens with networking whenever you have networks involved. And what's going on, what's starting to happen, I'm seeing more and more of this thing. So I actually reviewed with my architect a proposal on how to fix this permanently today. He sent it to me yesterday and I read it today, and we may have to spin it up and start working on it. But what it is there's two systems. There's actually three systems involved in figuring out whether or not a source is attached.
Okay.
It's the hint system. The hint system has to know that it's, you have to know what hints are offered for this person.
Okay.
And then you got to go to the tree and figure out which of those hints have already been attached. And then you have to go to the sources system to figure out how to match which hint is which attached source. So there's a source, and the source is attached to a person, and then the hint is supposed to look at the attachment to see if it matches.
Okay.
So to do that, you got to look at the hint system, the tree system, and the sources system to go figure that out.
So it's comparing three systems.
Right, but what it is doing really is it's one system. Each system sort of has a little copy of their own because they want to be fast.
Right.
And those copies are getting out of sync. So that one system thinks it's attached and another system doesn't think it's attached. So to fix that, we have to go build a brand new piece of software, a brand new service that runs on a server. That's the central keeper of all of the hints and all of the attachments. And we have to move all the data to there, and then all three, whenever we want a hint, we go to that system and say, give me hints, and then it goes in and goes and reads the three systems, caches them there, and then analyzes and returns back and say, here's the set. So it's not making each one go off and write code to go do stuff and saving a cache of it, a little small database of their own, and they're all getting out of sync. So that's the problem. Sorry. I guess with all this feedback, I'm gonna have to accelerate that change, that update.
Okay.
Thank you, Eileen, for the comments. Sherry, thanks. I tell you how old I am, but I'm not going to tell you.
We'll let you know when it gets close, or not how old he is, but when his birthday gets closer, it's towards the end of the month. We'll do some birthday celebrations stuff. So we'll let you know.
You know, I tell you because I'm getting there.
What are we talking about? You're 30 and holding.
Yeah, guys don't get to do the same thing.
You've been in that pattern for just a few years.
Right. What's the next question? Let's avoid the birthday stuff.
Okay, the next question is coming to us from Trish. She says, each grandparents was born in Greece. I have 4 generations on most of my family tree, and I am stuck on my direct lines until I learn Greek and make a trip there. I am finding more information on spouses of aunts, uncles, and cousins. Can I work on indirect by marriage lines? Should I make a separate tree? How do I do that if that is appropriate?
Yeah, well, you can't make a separate tree. There are no separate trees. This is all one big giant tree. You don't have your own personal sets of trees.
Right.
So it's okay to work on any, on the lines. That's fine. You can go up and you can go down and you can go to the side. You can go anywhere you want to enter data into the tree. The area that and you can enter in all that. You can enter in all that data and everything. You can research other people's lines. It doesn't matter. You research, you put it in. That's just great. They're going to love you for it if you do it. The issue is around ordinances. So you're free to just keep on researching and adding people. But when it comes to ordinances, then you need to follow the rules of ordinances, which is a common ancestor between you and that person you're trying to do ordinances for. So you can go up your line, then you can go down and do descendancy, and then you do ordinances for everybody as descendants until you hit the 110-year rule. We recognize that all of us have genealogies and many of us have genealogies that go to countries in which we don't speak that language.
True. And
we've talked about it for years and years. We've tried a few things a couple times, and it's sort of been mediocre. And we're spinning up another effort to try to figure out how to help people when they're dealing with records of things that they can't read because they don't know the language. My personal opinion is that our job is to connect you with other users in the system who do understand that language. And we have 44 languages in the booklet, and we have 44 languages of people putting in data through the booklet.
Right.
So odds are somebody on the system knows that language and does those records. And so we've lifted the lid off the box again, and we're actively reviewing what we can do. And one of the ideas we have right now that I think is getting ready to go into sort of prototype stage is we're going to have people go into their profile and say what countries or languages they are fluent with or they can deal with, what kind of records from these places you can do, and then and would you be willing to help? They've done a few tests with a few hundred people on this in certain areas, and we find that there's a few that are willing to help. They all say they are, but they kind of don't really share it. They don't turn it on, kind of thing, when they get an opportunity to. But we're going to try to see if we can't grow communities, grow groups of people who'd be willing to help you out. And then the idea is when you run across a problem and you can send a message to this set to say, I need help with my Greek record family because I don't speak any of that. I don't read the language and so forth. And then get a volunteer out there to be willing to say, yeah, I'll help you with this. What are you trying to find? Oh, I'm trying to find my grandfather or something. And they may be able to read a record for you. Or maybe you found a record or the system says it's a match, but you can't read it because you don't know.
Really fast. So when we first started this page, I was trying to connect with other genealogy groups on Facebook so that we could target, I wanted to interact with people.
Right.
that were also in genealogy. There are tons and tons of genealogy groups out there. But there's these ones that are very specific towards regions of countries that are designed with the purpose of helping people with their records in that area. So for example, like I know that I happened to join one that was like, they were working in Scotland. And so people could upload, like they don't speak Scottish, they don't know the language, they've never been there. They could upload a picture of their record and say, can somebody translate this for me? Or my grandfather's name is Henry, can you tell me what it says about him in this record? And other people in the Facebook group who do speak Scottish or do understand their language or how they wrote it back then will come on and like write it out for you in the comments. Yeah. So maybe try to find one and see if there's a Greek group that would be willing to help you out that way. Yeah. I mean, it'd be a very slow process until you could get there, but at least it's like kind of jump starting you a little bit. Yeah. Could be kind of cool.
I forgot about that. We've even done some of that in Family Search. We have a few groups out there where we're trying to get people in the community of particular areas to help.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, can you share info on an upcoming batch release? We were notified about it in Sunday's Steak Family History.
And what do you mean by batch release, Nancy? What?
My guess is like
a batch of what?
Catalogs, maybe?
Batch of records or a batch of ordinances? What?
We'll give her a minute to type.
Yeah.
While she's typing, let's go to the next question. Okay. Leia wants to know, thank you for the ability to put red code in capital letters on desktop computers. It saves lots of frustration. Though I know you can do it now without capital letters, but it is more recognizable. Just wanted to say thanks.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You're welcome.
Well, that was very nice.
Yes, it was.
All right. Terry says, my stepmom has found lots of temple names. Should she send the extra ones that she cannot do to the temple or leave them on the tree? She is the only member in her family.
Well,
I mean, I guess you could leave them to do the ordinance ready thing.
Yeah, I would recommend.
That's like
what could I say?
That's a hard one.
The odds are, the further you go back, the more likely there are people that are related to those people. So
right.
As you go, I mean, she may be the only member that she knows of in her family, but I bet you if you go back that line and you look at there's other contributors that have added memories and stuff, then they're also part of that family, probably, most likely. I think for right now, I recommend just leaving them in the tree and then go back and harvest some more when you need some more. And that's because we haven't updated the system fully to offer ordinances shared with the temple to people. That's coming, but it's not coming till later next year. And as soon as we have that capability, then I would be recommending just share it with the temple. That way we know for sure it's going to get done eventually.
Right.
Because it's not going to get lost, and you've already shared it with the temple. We'll keep track of it. Right. And if others want to do it, they'll be able to pull it off the temple list and do it or not. So for right now, I think I would just leave it there as my recommendation. Let others grab those green temples, and then you come back and get some more if you need it.
Yeah. Okay. Scroll down and see if Nancy told us what her batch is that she's looking for. Reserved ordinances.
Oh, so it's okay. So what we're doing on, did we announce it? I don't know if we sent the email out yet.
Sunday, her Sunday Steak Family History meeting, they did. Yeah, so you guys must have made it public.
Well, I think somewhere. It was on our homepage, actually. I think it's there. Yeah, so we're going to do a release of ordinances on November the 7th.
Okay.
So that's only a week away, 6 days.
Remember the 7th? That's next Wednesday.
Yeah. So next Wednesday it's going to happen. And what we're going to release are any ordinance, any reservations that are older than 2 years that they've been reserved, and the individual has not completed an ordinance within the last year.
Okay.
Or no, within the 2 years. Okay.
Oh, I see. They've been reserved, but they have not been completed within the 2 years. Now
they haven't done an ordinance and They haven't done
any work on that.
They haven't done any work on it for 2 years.
So it's time for that record to be
released. So that's time for that to be released. It'll be released.
Okay.
You can reset the clock on those by unreserving and re-reserving if you really want to have them. But you better do it before November 7th.
So do them before Wednesday. So do it like this weekend.
Yes.
Or Monday or Tuesday.
If you need to. If you want to keep some of them, then unreserve and re-reserve it.
Okay.
You can share them with a friend if you want, and the friend has to accept them. So that you can share it with a friend and the friend accepts it, then that also is sort of renewed for another 2 years. An unreserved and re-reserve would do that. And so we'll be sharing. There is a, wiki. There's also a Google, there's a blog article about it too. Linda, I think that goes to wiki thing. Talks a little bit about it, but yeah, there's also a Google Doc, a blog.
I'll go check it
blog article.
I'll go check it out.
It's broken, remember?
Mine's working. Oh, that's research group. So that would be for
thank
Trish.
you, Linda. Linda Chappell put out a URL to a set of research groups that you can click on.
So Trish, look at Linda's link, click there, and then it has a list of international research pages and groups. Maybe there's a group in there
that can help
you with your Greek relatives.
There you go.
That might be kind of cool. Okay, continue with your question. Sorry.
So that's it. So they'll be released on November 7th. Any of them that are 2 years old and have not had anything done on it within that 2 year period.
Okay.
And we believe this will be the last one that we will do manually because we do these manually. And then from then on, we'll have our automation going here in the next quarter or so. We'll have some audit quarter on, because it won't matter because everything that's left will be, you get at least another year.
So when it's automated, is it still going to be like a set date?
No.
Or is it just going to be 2 years for every reservation?
Individual reservations.
Okay.
So in the future, it'll be automated, and you'll see an expiration date on the temple list, on your temple list, and when it hits that date, it will release at the end of that day.
Okay.
So, but that's the future. This one's a manual one, and then the automated stuff will come by the end of the year, first part of next year.
Okay. Sherry says, a new LDS family search user did not see his parents when he first logged in. Does this indicate a membership record problem?
It probably indicates that they didn't enter their MRN. That's the most common problem, is they just logged in and they either didn't answer the 2 questions and it matched and to figure out where the record is, or they did not type in the MRN number. And then in the second you visit the tree, if you don't have a MRN in your account, then it just puts you on there because it has no membership records in which to examine.
Okay.
So the only thing you could do there, Sherry, is you could help them out and go sit with them, because you can't do a helper to help them. You'll have to sit with them and have them look at settings and go to their user page. I can't remember what it's called.
I'm sure it's like account settings of some sort.
Account or something. And on there should have their membership number. If it's not there, they got to type it in. And then since he's already visited the tree, we have it recorded that we've already tried to generate, so we won't regenerate. So then he needs to, him or her needs to call, it says his, so he needs to call support and say, I'd like you to regenerate my tree. Then they'll flip a switch, and I think they might have them log out and log back in, and then it'll regenerate.
Okay.
So that's what you have to do there. If he had a membership, well, I think it's almost next to nothing. It's impossible. The only other reason why he wouldn't see his parents is if his parents are not in his membership record. So if he did enter his MRM before he came to the tree, then that just means his membership is messed up. But I suspect the way you're talking is he's probably a multi-generational person. So if he is, then
he just didn't put his number in.
He didn't put his number in.
Okay. Monique says, what if I'm waiting to do SS, but the male endowments are shared with the temple, but the wife's ordinances were done more than 2 years ago? Do I need to re-reserve them? Ceiling to spouse.
No, the ceilings, when you don't have the ordinances, so the ordinances somebody else has, you don't have to worry about the ceilings. We won't release them if you were blocked by somebody else.
Okay.
So that's the intent. Occasionally we mess up. Remember, it's a manual thing. So once in a while, every time we do this release, we usually have 100 or 200 of these things where we accidentally release the ceiling, and then we have to run around and get them back. So maybe just keep an eye on it. Check on it. Yeah, keep an eye on it. Wednesday. Like the 8th, go. Print out. What I do is I print your reservation list. Tonight or whatever, or this weekend, and then go look at your reservation list after the 7th.
Next Thursday, a week from today, and make sure that
look at it, and compare it with your paper print, and see what happened. Okay, that's what I would do.
Linda says, "Are any ordinances grandfathered?" I'm assuming she means that they are not able to be released.
No, there's nothing that are protected.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Next question comes from Linda. She says, on the detail page of a couple with some children listed, could an indicator icon be placed on a child or the children indicating whether or not that child has a spouse without having to open each child to see? I know we could see that in landscape view, but many patrons primarily work from the detail page.
Yeah. We just don't have, pretty soon you got that, and then you're going to want to know when they were married, and then you want to know that and this, and pretty soon you got the whole tree sitting on the person page. So we have to cut it off, and where we've cut it is that page is about that person, and it's supposed to show their spouses and their children. When you start getting children's spouses, then it's no longer about that person. So we just had to pick a principle that a person page is about that person and everything about that person and not about other people.
Okay.
And so, sorry. And I don't think we're prepared to change the pop-up card to list spouse or something. But, let me give you a little teaching trick you can give people, and they'll feel really smart.
Oh.
If you hit the control button, you hold the control button down, and you click a left mouse click on those names, it will open a new tab on your browser every time you click. So you just say control click, control click, control click, control click, control click. You just open 5 kids' pages on your browser, and now they just have to go to each of the tabs to look at all about that person. It's not like they're having to click and the card comes up, then they have to click again, then the person page comes up. You just do control click and boom, 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 boom. I'm going to try that. I'm pretty dang sure that
you
works.
want to make sure that you're not giving them false information.
Well, I've done it before, but right, I've messed up before.
We need to make sure that you're actually giving them genius comments, not duds.
Yeah, not ignorant comments. Okay, so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go control click, and
I don't know. I just walked with that.
Boom.
Okay, she is there.
So I go control click, control click, control click, control click. And now I have you, and the next one is Mattson, and the next one's Kellen, the next one's Jared. So it works good, huh?
I guess we all exist.
No, I guess the clicking works really great. So just tell them control, click. So just go control, click, click, hold the control button down and click this kid, click that kid, click that kid, click, as fast as you can click them, and then it'll open up a bunch of tabs, and then you're fine. No more stuff.
You can just go through the tabs.
Now, if you're using a Mac instead of a Windows, then it's the control button, right? The
command.
Yeah, it might be the command button probably. That'll do it. And same deal. You hold it down, and it click, 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 and each one opens a new tab.
Okay.
So teach them that, and they'll feel smarter, and they'll love you for it because it's fast. There you go. That's it.
Ooh, Marilyn just got smarter. She got more brain.
No, she was always smart, but now she's going to tell other people. Let me give you a secret. Okay.
Okay. For the numbers people, let's hear about the growth roughly. How many new are added a day? How many merges are done a day? Has the new display of possible duplicates on that person page increased merging activity? All that kind of stuff. So I want you to know it's always fun to see you and your family live. I know it's not all about the numbers, but it is impressive to see how the world tree is coming.
Yeah, that's great. Let me see. Now I can go look at the latest stats here real quick.
Maybe just a few of them. Maybe like How many?
I don't do by day. How
many new records were added this week or this month? Your month just ended.
Yeah, I don't know.
October.
I'm not gonna look for there. I'm gonna look at what I had in October.
Mm.
Give me a minute. I'm going to my list. I gave a presentation last weekend, I guess it was.
On Saturday.
And I updated my little stats page that I show. And I'm going to go to that stats page.
So how often, just out of curiosity's sake, how often do you get these reports with numbers?
Every week, usually.
So you don't get them every day, but you get them weekly? And
yeah, merges and stuff I get every day, but I got tired of looking at them, so I don't look at them that much anymore.
Well, I can understand why.
It's just too much.
You just don't want to see everybody's merges?
Come on, man. What's going on here?
Mm-hmm. So your PowerPoint has got problems.
Well, it's a big PowerPoint. My PowerPoint's big.
It's a heifer?
They're usually, 90 meg or something, 100 meg. Okay, here we go. Almost there. Maybe someday.
Well, it probably doesn't help that you have like 200 slides.
Oh, that's the way it is.
You just like to entertain people.
I like to keep moving.
Keep it exciting.
I don't like to have drags. It's got to be down here somewhere. There we go.
Oh, here we go.
All right. So there's 1.2 billion persons in the tree. There are 3.8 million added every month. 3.8 new ones added.
And these stats are as of
last month,
October.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have 1.08 billion sources in Family Tree, which is amazing because, I remember we had a contest 2 years ago where we gave away a big prize for the family at the Family Center, and we had to get to 10 million.
Oh gosh!
And now we're at 1.08 billion sources. We create, you all create over 5 million sources every month. We add to the tree.
Why?
Because you have school on Fridays.
And then.
Okay, well, go ask Grandma.
And then, who's gonna pick me up?
Mom.
You?
Yep.
And then, where are we gonna go?
28.5 million total memories. 6.2 billion searchable names in historical records. We have 1.25 billion historical record images, and we add about 271 million new index records every year. So that's where we are. I didn't look at the merges, but the merges are increasing. The new possible duplicates is increasing the number of merges. We did have a little bump there. Well, fairly decent bump on merges, which is good. And I haven't received my latest report on how we're doing as far as percentage of duplicates, but I think we're improving. What was one other thing I was going to say? Oh, the largest tree, the single biggest tree is now over. It's 400, and I have it in the same thing.
And you just closed it.
I didn't close it. I just hit it. There it is, 444,593,713.
Wait, go back.
That's how big the largest single connected tree.
And that's people or records? People, right?
These are people. Wow. Tree doesn't have records. A person has records. The tree has persons.
That's a pretty large.
There's nobody else that has that big. I mean, at least that's available to public and available for people to participate.
Yeah.
444 million. And I get that report every 2 weeks or so. 3. I've got it now. We didn't know. We had to count it. We had to have machines go count it once in a while.
How would you like to have that job? So, okay.
Start. Yeah,
we want you to count all the records in the tree.
Yeah, you'd be dead before you got to 1 billion. So, but yeah, now we have a system now that we built that counts it for us.
Wow,
but it takes a lot of juice, so we only do it every few weeks or so. I told him once a month was good enough for me, but anyway, that's terrific. So thank you for all your hard work. So that's the latest stats.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to start doing those where we give them to you like once a quarter or something like that, so you guys can kind of see how things grow.
It's growing.
It's moving.
It's growing. Thank you.
Okay. Coy wants to know, do you have a specific podcast that deals specifically with the Family Tree app? I've never used Family Tree. I'm an avid follower of Family Search. Any help would be appreciated.
Yeah, hey, we're just starting podcasts. I don't know. I think I haven't actually done a podcast yet. Tegan's just taken these videos and taken the audio out of the video and threw out a couple of podcasts.
There you go. Mm-hmm. You can do this. We don't have anything specific yet. However, I did ask you guys this week. I had a form. I can pin it in the top post if you guys have more ideas of things that you want to hear about later. Of anything that really, like, in specific that you want to have a little podcast about. I think what we're envisioning is we're going to sit down and do just like little 20, maybe 30-minute little podcasts where we sit down and we answer some of the most common questions that he gets about a certain subject, or he can walk us through, like, maybe it's the first time you've ever used the app. Let's take a tutorial of the app and we'll walk you through how to use the app, or how to merge, or how to attach a source, or how to upload a memory or something like that. We haven't recorded any of them yet because he's been a little busy. He had 4 presentations last week, so we've kind of been trying to breathe a little bit. So we'll probably sit down and figure out a day when we can sit down and record a couple of them so that I can upload them for you. But if you have any ideas of podcast subjects that you want, or if there's a specific question that you would like answered, or something that you would like us to talk about, let me know. I'll put the form up in the pinned post for you guys so you can drop them there for us. Yeah, so Melissa's asking, has anyone gotten Facebook messages from Family Search who does this work? And it's a marketing team. It's a marketing team. It's the same team that does the Pioneer campaigns and the hinting campaigns and the emails you get on Sundays about hints for your relatives, and the Relief Society things, and Faithful Women, I think, is one that came out. This is the same team as that, and you have to subscribe to it. I think you have to go subscribe to the Family Search Facebook bot. I think what you have to do is you go to their Facebook page, and then you go like you're going to send Family Search a message, like you're trying to reach out to them, and then in that message box, it'll give you an option to subscribe to their automated bot, and their bot will start sending you automated messages every. I don't know. It's whenever they do. Whenever they send them to you, every couple days, every week, or whatever. I think it's a couple. If you're on Facebook and you read those, a couple of weeks or something. If you're on Facebook and you read those a lot, and that's something that you enjoy, I would recommend doing it. BYU. There's Monique says that BYU's Family History Library's YouTube page has some videos on the app where they probably are demonstrating it. That'd probably be a great place to look. Okay, quite a few messages. Yeah, Family Search. I know they try to keep up. Yeah, and we're trying to get more personal with the Facebook message bot and target it just to you, for instance, or to individuals that are similar. And anyway, and we're exploring lots of other ways to communicate with people, because interesting. Facebook is not used everywhere on the planet. There's other parts of the world. Yeah, there's other parts of the world they don't even bother with phone stuff hardly anymore. They all have phones, but they don't do phone calls. They all do WhatsApp. Is a big, super popular in most parts of the world, but not so popular here yet, even though it's been around for a while. But it's way popular over there because they can get phone calls and video messages to each other live streaming for nothing. For free. Yeah, and when you're living in a country where it's really expensive to get internet, or really expensive to get messages across phone things, then you just do WhatsApp.
So we're looking at that and other vehicles to help people come and do their family history.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There you go. Jenny says that the Facebook messages are daily.
And I selected to have mine show first, so that's the first post I see every
in
day.
Facebook you can set preferences of like what pages and posts you want to see first. So she set that as like her personal preference.
Okay. So. All right, let's have another question.
All right, Michael wants to know, I like the new fan chart that shows colors for things like country of birth. Kinpoint has a service that shows occupations or whether they were in the military or not. Can we get visualizations of those on the fan chart in the future?
For military service?
Military or occupations or country of birth?
Well, maybe someday in the future. I think that most people probably don't have occupation on them.
Okay.
Because we in Family Search traditionally don't index occupation. So it's probably not worth doing until we see a significant number of people in the tree having occupation as other information. There's not very many, I don't think, that have occupation. So it's a good idea, but it's fairly costly to calculate those things across 7 generations. So, but I'll certainly put it down on the list as something we just keep our eye on. Okay, what's next?
Sorry, I was trying to catch up on some of these questions over here. So some apps no longer appear in the Family Search Solution Gallery. Can you tell us more about this?
Okay, I'll answer that. Some apps no longer appear in the Family Search Solutions Gallery. Can you tell more about this? Okay, so we had the old app gallery, and to be on the app gallery, you just had to breathe, basically, and we put you on the app gallery.
Okay.
And we moved to the Solutions Gallery, and the Solution Galleries have a little bit more expectation written into the agreement on what the partner needs to be willing to do, and we didn't try to make it hard. If you see, there's lots of basic apps out there that are doing it, but we found that some people they've done these apps and they're not really making any money or anything, or not interested in having to change we changed another reason that you may hear out there is we changed some of our APIs. The reason why we changed our APIs is to improve them, to give them better information, things like that. But when you change an API, that's the application interface between two software systems. They got to rewrite their code and call those new APIs. And there's been several companies that are unwilling to put that effort in. Most of these companies are 1 or 2 people kind of companies, and they're just like, we're not interested in rewriting that. We'd rather spend our energy working on this other thing.
New features.
So, yeah, new features for their own products and stuff like that. So that usually explains, it's usually they're not interested in rewriting their pieces of code. By the way, when we tell them that we're changing the API interfaces, we give them 6 months notice to say, hey, in 6 months, we're going to turn it on now. You can start now, but in 6 months, if you're not, whether we're going to turn off the old one.
If it's not compatible, it won't show up.
Yeah, but if you'll be broken if you don't rewrite your code to use the new stuff. We usually give them a minimum of 6 months, sometimes as much as a year and a half. But and so some of these they just either was too much work for them and they decided not to do anything, so they chose not to upgrade their software to use the newer APIs. And some of those are some of the ones that aren't in the solutions gallery because they aren't using the latest APIs.
They didn't update with
right, and plus they have to go in there and they have to say they want to be in there and they have to provide some information to be in there. And some of them just aren't willing at the moment, or they may do it a little later. I don't know.
Okay.
You'll need to talk to them about why they're not in the gallery.
Jenny wants to know, if you have time, will you review the current policy on adding memories to living persons, please?
You can add memories to any of your living people you want. Tagging, the only thing that's changed, when we changed this first part of the year, if you tag a person, meaning you draw their little circle and then you use that to attach them to a person in the tree, when you attach it to a person in the tree and that person's living, then what will happen now, because we were exposing living names, We changed the policy and rules there. So if you, let's say that Tegan, I have a picture of Tegan and I upload the picture and I put a circle around myself and put my in, and I put a circle around Tegan, put her name in. Mm-hmm. When I look at that picture, I'll see both tags, her circle with the name and my circle. Yeah. But when she looks at the picture, she'll only see nothing.
No tags.
No tags at all, because she can't see me, because she can't see the tag I put in because it's a living tag. And she can't see her living tag that I put in for her because she didn't put them in. So since I created the tags on the living people, then I'm the only one that can see them.
Right.
So she has to go create her own set of living tags in order to have that. And that's just for privacy protection. If it was a deceased and a living, say I'm dead and Tegan's still alive, and she tags me and she tags herself, and then somebody else sees that picture, they'll just see my tag because I would be deceased. But your tag would be invisible. Hidden. Yeah, it's hidden. Okay. So that's the only thing. As far as that, we do have a few changes in what you can upload into memories without being restricted. I'm going from memory here. You can't put anything. Let me see here. I got it in this slide deck. It's a good thing I kept it up.
Oh, I guess. Good thing you didn't close it. Is it frozen?
No, the computer is just busy.
You're asking it to do too much.
Mm-hmm. It's over the top. Okay, so with memories rules, there's new restrictions on upload memories. And the new restrictions are the terms will say no sacred or religious content, meaning no pictures of sacred or religious clothing, rites, patriarchal blessings should not be uploaded, and temple family cards. So people have been uploading the patriarchal blessings of ancestors. That's to be private and to your family. And temple cards, those aren't to be uploaded. People were uploading temple cards that were the stamped cards. So those are all now against policy, and we'll restrict them if you show those things. Also, we changed the rule of no pictures when somebody is kissing or about to kiss on the mouth. Okay? So if you have two people, they're puckered and the lips are just like right there going for it, it'll be denied. Whoever the two people are, so I don't care if it's a mother and their child or two children or whatever, it doesn't matter. Any two people or three, I guess any number, doesn't matter, all about to kiss or kissing on the lips is now invalid, and we'll remove those from the system. Okay. So that's the new rules for memory. So that's the only policies I can think of. Are those the ones that you were interested in? Jenny? Jenny, was it Jenny that asked that question? Mm-hmm. Okay.
The solutions gallery allows us to rate.
Yeah, the rating on the solution gallery, we don't do anything with those ratings. That's just for other users that come and look at them. Right. So it's just like everybody rates a book that they like on Amazon. So this is the same thing. You rate it.
So Family Search doesn't use the reviews. It's just personal for you and
this for the community.
You like it, and then other people can read it and see if it's something that they want to use.
Right. That's how we do it.
Just kind of like iTunes or Amazon reviews.
Yeah.
I heard Mesa, Arizona is building a family discovery center. Do you know much about this?
Yeah, interestingly enough, I went to that Ogden one, and the Ogden one had, oh no, they're building a new one in Ogden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. They're about done. It's a beautiful building. What I know about the Family Discovery Center in Arizona is I believe they're building a new one. I think last I heard, now I haven't seen, they don't talk to me about it. Okay, this is not my responsibility.
This is not your realm
not my
expertise.
Responsibility, so I don't know. But the last I heard, they were tearing down the building, the old building that had asbestos and everything in it, and they were going to build a new one. Family Discovery Center.
In the same place?
If you go to, I think James Tanner on Genealogy Star is the one I've seen the most writing about this because he lived there in Mesa for years, moved up here to Provo.
Okay.
Provo-Orem area. And so you might want to go to Genealogy Star. There may be some other bloggers that have written about it. But
I'm sure they've mentioned.
I mean, you can even just search Google for Mesa Family Discovery Center, but
he's not privy to actual.
I can go ask. I can go ask some of them. I'll go ask some people. Why don't you send that one to me?
Sure.
I'll go ask and see if I can find out some information. So next time.
Mesa.
Yeah, stuff on Mesa Family Discovery Center. I know they built a new one in Ogden. It's part of their temple rebuild. After temple was done, now they're just finishing it. It's a beautiful building. I mean, I saw pictures of it. It's like a 2-story building.
Wow.
And it's like the whole bottom floor is all discovery and stuff, and the whole top floor is classrooms and a bunch of computers. It looked really nice. Looked really nice. Okay.
Okay, we are right at
we're right at 8:30. Let's see what else we got.
Preferred photos have been randomly changing on a number of my ancestors in the tree array. Set them to my preference. After a few months, many of them changed again. I thought the preference was tied to a user ID.
Yeah, preferences are. I think.
Used to be tied to
he's saying my preferred photos keep getting messed up. The only thing I can tell you there is the system where we store all photos has been having all sorts of problems for the last 2 weeks. And it's going down, and it's returning random stuff. I mean, I was looking at one, and they returned a person. I said, I'll go look for this person. I saw that person. I came back, refreshed the page, and I saw someone else.
You're like,
and I'm going, whoa, that's busted. And they found their problems. We're going to shut down the back-end system on Monday morning at midnight. And then they're going to spend a couple of hours fixing their problems. And we hope that after, that next week it's all settled down. But it's not necessarily memories that's the problem, and it's not necessarily the portraits that's the problem. It's the back-end system that holds all pictures. And we go and ask for a picture, and they send us the wrong one. And so they're going to have that all fixed by this next weekend. By Monday morning at midnight is when we start.
Somebody is working some late shifts. Huh?
Oh yeah, they'll probably be up till 3 or 4 in the morning. So
no fun.
That's our maintenance window. Our maintenance window is Monday morning, midnight to 4. When we make changes of any significance on the system, we have to do it between midnight and 4 a.m. on Monday mornings.
I guess it's a good thing you're not on maintenance.
Yeah.
Jenny says, thanks for clearing that up. That was the question about the rules about the photos.
Okay.
So thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Okay. One last thing on Lee's about
preferences with photos.
Photos. They're called portraits. We call them portraits. Your little circle on there.
Yeah.
And soon we are going to change that.
Oh boy.
And it's going to fix the problem of, you go into a portrait and you see like 15 portraits there. And there's only like 2 memories on the memories tab, but there's 15 portraits from all these weird pictures that aren't even attached to the people anymore.
Okay.
And that's because the team, when they built this originally, they separated portraits from the memories. And so when you removed a memory, they left the portrait. So
okay.
They're still going to do that, but we built a whole new system that'll work a whole lot better. And it won't be the tags will be separate from portrait, meaning you could tag people. Here's this person, this one. But then you do a portrait. It's traditional like Facebook. You bring up a picture and you got a box. You move around to where it looks right, and then you say that's my portrait. It has nothing to do with tagging of who they are in the picture. And then, but there will only be 1 portrait per person in the tree. So we'll no longer have preferences. Their preferences will go away. I'm sorry, but it means if you like a younger version of the person, somebody else like an older version of the person, I'm sorry, but the new change to handle the load and to handle the number of people and the number of portraits and so forth is we're going to change the rules, and you only have 1. We don't think it's going to be super significant because 99.9% of all pictures all persons that have portraits have 1.
Okay.
So there'll be a small percentage of them that have more than 1 portrait, and so we hope that won't be too disruptive.
All right.
So that's coming. They're working on actually migrating. They're actually moving the data, the portraits now into the new portrait system right now. It's probably going to take them through into December or so before they get that done. And so I think the plan is sometime at the end of the year or first part of next year when that will turn on.
Okay.
So I think we burned our time. The internet held up long enough. We had the wireless go down once during the middle, but you didn't even notice. And but we were able to survive.
Good thing Google Sheets survives without being online.
As long as you don't have to refresh, you can bring it down. So thank you very much.
We will see you guys next. The next Q&A session is November 15th, which is in 2 weeks on a Thursday. Yeah. Keep submitting your questions like you've been doing, and we'll see you on the 15th. Yeah. I don't think you have any events. I think you're done for the year. No, I'm not done. Never mind. No, I got one on the 18th. Oh, but the rest of them are. They're all not open to the community. Yeah, sorry. I got like two or three more in-house trainings and stuff like that. So you guys can't come. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So we will see you guys on the 15th. As always, if you have any questions, submit them to the forum. It's in the pinned post. Otherwise, have a great week. And we'll see you next time. Yeah. All right. Have a good week. Bye-bye. I need to start pushing this like a little early.